When I was 12, my mom, my sister, and we all traveled to Germany together. I wanted to get a hold of my cousin so bad. I walked away from it was a big group of young adults staying on the gymnasium floor. Went over to the post office and looked through the phone book. I found my last name, but I forgot I don't have the city. So I walked outside, called my dad, only to find out that it was 3 in the morning there because I forgot about the 7-hour time change. But Dad was pretty good about it. He went to my room and got the letters for me in the city that my cousin lived in. And I walked back to the post office, looked in the phone books, got a few numbers that I could try, and I went back out to the phone booth. I plugged in some more change, and change got stuck. I looked around and I saw this lever. One side was German, one side was Japanese. I thought, well, I'll just pull it because I got nothing to lose. So I pulled and pulled and pulled and pulled and pulled and pulled, waited a few minutes. And the police came. They said something hurriedly in German. I said, well, I have my coin stuck in the phone. The police officer was so great. He pulled out his pocket knife and he tried to get my coin stuck in the phone. I could tell he was slightly annoyed. Then he went over to the post office and talked to a few of his friends. When he went over there, I realized, oh, I forgot my camera in the post office and it was closed. So I ran over there to explain to the police officer that my camera was in there, and then he proceeded to talk to these people in German. A few minutes later, the people looked at me and gave me directions on how, and told me something in German, which I found out later was directions on how to go to the other side of the city to get my camera because the post office had already been cleaned by an outside company and my camera was taken across the city to Lost and Found. At this point, the police officer looked at me and said, "You don't speak German. You don't know what they're saying, do you?" I said, "No." He said, You don't know how to get to the other side of the city, even if it was in English, do you?" I said, "No." Oh, the police officer, good man that he was, he didn't need to do this. But he said, "Okay, wait for me." So he finished talking to his friends, and the next thing I knew, he invited me into his car. He took off, thought, oh, this is probably not good. But he drove hurriedly through the city. He stopped at a strange building, went in, and came out with my camera. I thought, this is great. Then he said, "Do you know how to get back to where you're staying?" "No, I don't." He said, "Do you know where you're staying?" "No." I said, "It's a gymnasium and it's by a church." And he said, "Oh, I know where that is." So he dropped me off, which didn't go over very well with my friends when they found out that I was dropped off by a police car, but when they found out the story, it was all okay. Police are great. They're there to protect and serve us. They're great law enforcers. A lot of times you'll see police coming into schools giving talks on bicycle safety, internet safety. Most of the times we see police giving traffic violations because they're keeping us safe. They're there to protect us. Maybe instead of trying to get away with it, and trying to get away with as much as we can and trying to argue with them and trying to get out of a ticket, maybe we could just take responsibility for our actions, make their job a little easier, because it is just a job for them, and just go, in our heads, yeah, I did something wrong. Yeah, I'll take the consequences for it. And have a nice day, officer. Because then our actions are going to be so much nicer towards the police officer, and they don't have to put up with people constantly trying to get out of something. Other places we see them patrolling streets, oftentimes patrolling neighborhoods we don't want to go into. And when we feel unsafe, who do we call? Usually the police. And they come and they patrol our neighborhoods a little bit more often. Police often respond to domestic violence calls. A lot of them, in fact. The average wage for a police officer, according to the United States Bureau of Labor Statistics, is $38,000 to $45,000 a year. In 2014, 126 police officers died in the line of duty. Police officers are not only there to protect us, but they're also there to serve us. I mean, come on. We've seen police at 9/11. They were the first responders. In fact, they were there before the building even collapsed. And many of them lost their lives because it collapsed on them. Weather. Hurricanes, tornadoes, flash floods. Where do we see police? They're the first responders. They are trained to save our lives. They're even trained to deliver a baby. And then accidents. Who's the first person you're supposed to call? The police. So they're there for the small accidents like fender benders, but they're also there for the injured and the dead. And guess who has to go into the homes and tell the parents or tell the family that their loved ones have died? The police. Let's make an effort to really respect our police. You know what? They're going to mess up because we're all human. Which one of us haven't messed up on a job? Which one of us haven't done something wrong? Which one of us is perfect? Nobody. Okay, so we can hold them accountable in a respectful way. That's fine, because we would hold anybody in our lives accountable in a respectful way. But let's really think in our minds, the police matter. They matter to us, they matter to our community, and what they do matters. It is so important to us, and so important to everybody around us. And if you ever get the chance, thank a police officer.